Bugungi darsimizda Cambridge 13 test 2 section 3 analiz bilan davom etamiz. O'z ko'rganingizdek section 3 questions 21 to 30, questions 21 to 25, ABC multiple choice questions. Planning a presentation on nanotechnology. Nanotexnologiya bo'yicha prezentatsiyani tayyorlash haqida gap olar ekan. Birinchi navbatda savollarni o'qib olishimiz kerak. O'z bilganingizdek. Ross says that his difficulty in planning presentations due to demak nima uchun qiyinchilikka uchrabdi bechora? Lack of knowledge about the topic, lack of knowledge about the topic, uncertainty about what you should try to achieve, short time, here has poor presentation. Xo'p, ma'lumot yo'q ekan. Nima qilishini, qanaqa telga erishishini bilmas ekan. I plus yoki short time, vaqt kam ekan. Ross and his tutor agrees that will be concentrate one field, chronological development of nanotechnology, range of applications of nanotechnology. In connection with slides, the tutor advises to Russ to slide 11. Nima qilish kerak? Talk about the first slide to illustrate the points he makes. Consider omitting slides altogether. Omitting. Polni javob tasha. Zibos agrees that the best way to start. Encourage others to talk. Explain what Ross intends to do. An example. Пример. Interesting. What does tutor advise Ross to do next while preparing for presentation? Summarize main points. He wants to make a read note. He already made. List the topic he wants to cover. Xo'p, endi birdaniga javoblarni eshitishni boshlasak ham bo'lsa kerak. Keling, endi shu ishni boshlaymiz. 21 to 25. Başladık.
First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 20.
Bundan hafta. What is this?
Listen carefully and answer questions
That's what?
21 to 25.
Come in, Russ. Thank you. Now, you wanted to consult me about your class presentation on nanotechnology. You were due to give it next week, aren't you?
That's right, and I'm really struggling. I chose the topic because I didn't know much about it and wanted to learn more, but now I've read so much about it, in a way there's too much to say. I could talk for much longer than the 20 minutes I've been allocated. Should I assume the other students don't know much and give them a kind of general introduction? Or should I try and make them share my fascination with a particular aspect?
You could do either, but you'll need to have it clear in your own mind.
Then I think I'll give...
Shut up. Xo'p, nima bo'ldi? Muammoga I'm struggling dedi. O'sha keyword dedi. Mana I'm struggling. I'm really struggling. Struggling degani u yomon qiyinchilikka uchrayapman degani. Xo'p, boshlanishda bilmaganim uchun tanlaganim. Endi shuncha ko'p narsani bilaman, hozir nima qilishni bilmay qoldim. Preparation emas, prezentatsiya 20 minut bo'ladigan bo'lsa, 20 minutdan ko'p ma'lumotga vaqtim bor dedi. Men bilmayman nima qilishim kerak. Should I assume that other students don't know much? Gives them kind of general introduction. Should I try to make the share my fascination with a particular field? Nima qilishim kerak? Nima qilishni bilmayman degani uchun ham shu uchun ham bini oldik.
An overview.
Okay. Now, one way of approaching this is to work through developments in chronological order. On the other hand, you could talk about the numerous ways that nanotechnology is being applied.
You mean things like thin films on camera displays to make them water repellent, and additives to make motorcycle helmets stronger and lighter?
Exactly. Or another way would be to focus on its impact in one particular area, say medicine or space exploration.
That would make it easier to focus. Perhaps I should do that.
I think that would be a good idea.
O'z ko'rganingizdek, bular hammasini aytib chiqdi. Chronological developmentga qarasang bo'ladi dedi. Aha dedi keyin. Aha dedi. Yoki range of applicationlarni ko'rsang bo'ladi dedi. Shunaqa deydilar. Yoki dedi focus on one impact on particular area. Bitta area bo'yicha, bitta soha bo'yicha anasini impactini, влияниясini ko'rsang bo'ladi dedi. That would make it easier to focus dedi. I should do that dedi. I think you're right. How important? I mean, right dedi. Shuni shu shiqil dedi. Shu uchun ham birinchi beni aytdi, keyin seni aytdi, keyin eni aytdi, lekin javob A bo'ldi.
Right. How important is it to include slides in the presentation?
They aren't essential by any means. And there's a danger of tailoring what you say to fit whatever slides you can find. While it can be good to include slides, you could end up spending too long looking for suitable ones. You might find it better to leave them out.
I see. Another thing...
You might find it better to leave them out dedi. Can be good to include, you could end up spending too long, you might find it better to leave them out. Leave out degani o'sha, просто omit qilib, omit degani o'sha chiqarib yubor, polностью chiqarib yubor dedi. Nima uchun dedi? Masalan, qanaqa slayd topadigan bo'lsang, o'shanaqa gapirishing mumkin yoki gapirmoqchi bo'lganingga slaydlarni qidirishing mumkin dedi. O'sha uchun ham vaqtingni olib qo'yadi, o'sha uchun ham просто yo'qotib yubor dedi. Mana shuni kirgizma dedi, qo'shma dedi slaydlarni dedi. O'sha normalroq bo'ladi dedi. Keyingisi.
thing I was wondering about was how to start. I know presentations often begin with, first I'm going to talk about this, and then I'll talk about that. But I thought about asking the audience what they know about nanotechnology.
That would be fine if you had an hour or two for the presentation, but you might find that you can't do anything with the answers you get, and it simply eats into the short time that's available.
So maybe I should mention a particular way that nanotechnology is used to focus people's attention.
That sounds sensible.
What do you think I should do next? I really have...
O'z ko'rganda nima qilib boshlashim kerak dedi. Birinchi buni gapiraman, keyin buni gapiraman deyman yoki odamlarga savol berib gapirtirishga harakat qilaymi dedi. Yo'q, vaqting bo'lsa normal qilsang bo'ladi degan. Hozir bitta example bergan tinch dedi. Mana, I was wondering what was that. No, I know presentations from begin with first I'm going to talk about this and I'll talk about that. But I thought I was asking the audience, it would be fair if you had to one or two. So maybe I should mention a particular way it's used for. Particular way what the example bo'ladi to focus people's attention. That sounds sensible. Sounds sensible degani normalniy. Mantiqiy eshitiladi. O'sha uchun ham shu shiqilladi. O'sha uchun ham C bo'ldi javob.
To plan the presentation today and tomorrow.
Well, initially, I think you should ignore all the notes you've made. Take a small piece of paper and write a single short sentence that ties together the whole presentation. It can be something as simple as, nanotechnology is already improving our lives. Then start planning the content around that. You can always modify that sentence later if you need to.
Okay.
Sorry, o'z ko'rgazing notlaring hammasi rapish tashlab yubor dedi. Bitta gapda summarize qil, hamma gapingni, o'shanga qarab to'g'rilab ket dedi. Ignore all the notes, shuning uchun ham B ketdi. Write a single short sentence that ties together the whole presentation bu A. Undan keyin to'g'rilab ketsang bo'ladi. Mana, you can always modify the sentence later. Lekin mana list topics he wants to cover degan narsa yo'q. Shu 25 A bo'ldi. Keyingisiga o'tamiz. Hope structure, eye contact, body language, choice of words, handouts. Lacked conclusion, useful in the future, not enough, sometimes distracting, showed originality, covered a wide range, not too technical. Eshitamiz, ko'ramiz javoblarni.
Before you hear the
Okay, now let's think about actually giving the presentation. You've only given one before, if I remember correctly, about an experiment you'd been involved in.
That's right. It was pretty rubbish.
Let's say it was better in some respects than in others. With regard to the structure, I felt that you ended rather abruptly, without rounding it off. Be careful not to do that in next week's presentation.
Okay.
You ended it abruptly without running it out degani test tugatib qo'yding, round off qilmading, ya'ni conclusion bermading dedi. Well, let's say it was better in the, with regard to the structure, struktura haqida gapiradigan bo'lsak, I felt that you ended that rather abruptly without running it. Be careful, don't do it next time. So, okay dedi qisqasi, conclusioning yo'q dedi. Round off qilmading dedi.
Okay. And you made very little eye contact with the audience because you were looking down at your notes most of the time. You need to be looking at the audience and only occasionally glancing at your notes.
O'z ko'rgazda very little eye contact dedi, chunki notlaringga qarab o'tirding dedi. Ko'pincha audiensga qarab, occasionally kamdan kam holatlarda notlaringga qarashing kerak dedi. And you made very little eye contact. Very little da not enough synonymi, because you were looking down at your notes. Qisqasi endi mana bunaqa qilamiz, bunaqa qilib tushuntirib qo'yamiz. Bo'ldi shu.
Your body language was a little odd.
Odd.
Every time you showed a slide, you turned your back on the audience so you could look at it. You should have been looking at your laptop. And you kept scratching your head, so I found myself wondering when you were next going to do that, instead of listening to what you were saying.
Oh dear. What did you think?
Shut up. Qisqasi prezentatsiyani keyingi slaydga o'tib ketding, notebookingga qarash o'rniga orqaga slaydga qarading, odamni distract qilib qo'ydi, undan keyin anaqa qilding, boshingni qashlab qo'yding, undan keyin men o'ylab qoldim, bu nima haqdaligini tushunmasdan, bu qachon boshini keyin bunaqa qilar ekan deb o'ylab qoldim, distracting bo'ldi qisqasi. But on the other, you could looking at your laptop, you should keep stretching your head. Found myself wondering when you were next going to do this instead of listening to what you were saying. Qisqasi shu. Choice of words.
Think of the language. I knew that not everyone was familiar with this subject, so I tried to make it as simple as I could.
Yes, that came across. You used a few words that are specific to the field, but you always explained what they meant, so the audience wouldn't have had any difficulty understanding.
Not too technical bo'lsa kerak bu qism, chunki nima deysan, so'zlar ishlatgan so'zlarim haqida, chunki hamma ham bilmaydi. Yaxshi qilding, ma'lumot bergan bo'lsang ham tushuntirib ketding nima haqidaligi ekanligini mana. Language, not everyone was familiar with the subject, simple as I could, came across, use few words that are specific to the field, you could always explain what they meant, so the audience wouldn't have any difficulty understanding. That's true, not a technical job. Bum.
I'll say the handouts you prepared were well thought out. They were a good summary of your presentation, which people would have been able to refer to later on. So well done on that.
Thank you.
Refer to it on that dedi, yaxshi summary bo'lganda dedi, kelajakda keyinchalik later on dedi, qisqasi ishlatish mumkin. O'sha uchun ham bino oldim. Qani bu? Hamma says the handouts you prepared were well thought of. Okay, they were a good summary of what your presentation. Good. Which people were able to refer to later on. Later on the keyword dedi. Shuning uchun future dedik. Originality haqida gap bo'lmadi, wide range haqida gap bo'lmadi. Shuning uchun ham shu qism o'z nihoyasiga ketadi. Endi section 4 ga o'tishimiz kerak sekingina.